Call meeting in order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call now.
Murder.
Here.
Mazer.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Sofa. Absent. Weaver. Wilson.
Here.
And Zimmer. Absent.
I'll make a motion to excuse the absence.
Support.
Mazer.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa. Absent. Weaver.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Zimmer. Absent. Murder.
Yes. Non-agenda items from the sideline. I don't have anything from anybody.
There is that note there.
Nope. Well, let's go get the agenda, okay. So, city administration. Chief?
Wilson?
Douglas?
I'm on the agenda later.
Okay. Adoption or amendment of the agenda?
I'll make, amend the agenda under new business number 5, election and inspector's pay. No further amendments, I make a motion to adopt the agenda as
I'll
amended.
support. Sorry, guys.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa. Absent. Sorry, Sofa. Absent. No, wait, I'm doing this wrong.
You started.
What I do.
You started with me this time.
No, she started with me, didn't she?
Don't start with.
No, okay, I got it. Sofa. Absent. Weaver. Yeah, Weaver.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Does he vote being he wasn't here for the thing?
I'll let the record show that Mr. Zimmer showed up a couple minutes later.
We're approving the agenda.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Murder.
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Did you skip me?
No, she started with you. The second one.
Oh, okay.
I'm at the first
Oh,
one. She
no.
started with you.
Oh,
Approval of.
You
regular-
were first. You were
Yeah.
first.
I was?
You were
The
first
the
this
second
time,
one,
yes.
yeah.
I'm glad you guys keep track of
Sorry.
that stuff. So, moving on, approval of the regular meeting minutes of January 8th, 2024. If we don't have any changes or amendments, I'll take a motion.
I'll move to accept them as presented.
Well, we're approving for the 8th and the meeting was on the 9th. But the minute says the 8th. We're approving, it says approving, look on your, this.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh,
I don't know.
The
if
agenda,
that-
the agenda date is wrong.
Yeah.
okay,
minutes.
it's on the agenda, it's incorrect.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that one's
The
right.
minutes are good, it's just the agenda was
I know
wrong.
you make a comment, comments in the wrong place, so.
Support.
Sofa. Absent. Weaver.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Murder.
What?
Mazer.
Yeah, yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along. Presentation and approval of the January disbursements for $169,216.91 and the electronic wire transfers of $12,277.80.
Just a quick question before we make a move on that. I think I might clear this up last time, but I've seen it again, that the LLP, professional services all occur and scattered through different departments. Do we pay them more than once?
What is it? LLP what?
It says
The U-
UHY LLP, professional.
Yeah, that is
services.
still,
That's
auditors, and it comes out of every,
But I mean, more than once though, because I thought I saw it last month or.
no, sometimes they'll wait, they'll give us part of the bill, and then the other part, and, yeah,
Just curious, okay.
And all departments share it.
yes.
Want a motion?
Yep.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the January disbursements of $169,216.91 and the electric wire transfer of $12,277.80.
Support.
Communications.
And Weaver.
Yes.
Wilson. Zimmer.
Yes.
Murder.
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa absent.
Communications, I have none.
I had one little piece of share on that water meter tax. Got a couple different emails from Candace's office and one of her assistants. When we passed ours, we were up to like 17 communities had signed on to it. She said that it's getting some pretty good traction in Lansing. Made the point again, Macomb County had 750,000. They never even dispersed all that money. They're trying to get another 7 or 8 million out of just Macomb County. And I'm hoping it's going to get defeated, but we'll see. But they appreciate our support, getting the resolution sent to them. So there was a front page Macomb story too. I don't know. I forgot to bring. I was going to show you, but that's what's getting surprised.
Well, because I don't have that one, I don't have anything to put on the file.
Yes, yeah.
Yep, okay, so unfinished business, there's nothing there. New business, police committee report, police chief vacation extension.
Okay, so we had a meeting, and there's two issues. The first one is pretty simple, I believe. The police chief has a vacation scheduled for after his anniversary date, but before the end of the same month. So the committee recommends that we allow that. So I'll make a motion to extend the chief's vacation through the end of the month of March.
So is that getting like charged to your next year then, or?
No.
True.
He's actually using from this year, but it's just past his anniversary
Just a
date.
calendar thing?
Well,
His new year starts,
in the middle of the month,
so he wants
and
to
then his
use
vacation
old
is after.
one to
He had a
cover.
vacation that was canceled.
So we
I'm sorry, Chief, do you want to explain it, or?
My anniversary date is March 19th, which is the day that you would have to use your benefit time. I'm going on vacation March 20th. So, and it's in the same pay period actually, so I just really extending it by about 8 days is all I'm
But
asking.
there's no difference in the time?
No, nothing of that, none of that's
Okay.
changing.
So
It's just rollover. And it actually will save us money because we don't have to have someone come and fill in for him in the pay period.
Can I get a motion, please?
I made a motion.
I support it.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Murder,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa absent, Weaver.
Yes.
Okay, so this one, is a little more complicated. So the chief, on his next anniversary will be 5 years, believe it or not, which is pretty astounding to me. It's been 5 years.
We've got it, will this stay this long? Thank you.
Well, no, yeah, that too. No, it seems like time's flying by, but I guess I'm just getting old. So, at his next anniversary, which would be March, he would be getting an additional 2.5 days, from 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks, right?
Correct.
He's asking for 3 weeks. I think it's pretty, it's pretty doable. I don't think that it's a problem in this day and age. To me, after 5 years, to get to bring it from 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks as opposed to 3, it's marginal. I think that it's definitely deserved, it's earned, and I support it all the way.
And along with that, you have what, 80 hours of comp time?
Yeah, nothing else is changing, it's just, the way it's written now, it takes 10 years to get to 3 weeks, it's just, that's a long time for 3.
3 weeks to 5 years is pretty reasonable time in any company generally.
I think waiting 10 years to get to 3 weeks is insane.
What,
Yeah.
that's what it's at now.
That's insane.
Yeah, I think it's just, it was written a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably
I got 4 and 8. 4 weeks and 8 years.
Yeah.
Actually, while we're talking about it, I think it's something we probably need to look at, and we should probably
Across the board, maybe?
do something with the clerk too.
So what, just change it in the book, the 5-year one?
No, I wouldn't do
Look
that for
at all
now.
of them?
I think that's a kind of a different issue. This is just a one-off, and then we'll,
Okay,
advisory committee should probably look at, or not the advisory.
Finance.
I can review all of that. That's what like my everyday job is doing stuff like that. I can, if you guys want, I can look at it and
That'd be great.
compare to like what employment trends are and stuff like that nowadays.
Absolutely. I'll make a motion to raise the police chief's vacation time to 3 weeks at the 5-year anniversary.
Support.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa absent, Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, next up, the 2024 poverty exemption policy guidelines. This is basically a renewal for the year, correct?
Yeah, you get these from the counties.
Right,
Every year.
this is, right, just looking at the guidelines, just updating for 2024. So can I get a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the city one's 2024 property exemption policy.
Support.
Martyr,
yes,
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa absent, Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
all right, next up, Douglas, the fire department approval for the 2024, 2025, 2026 budget.
Met last week with the fire committee along with Larry. What you have in front of you, there's 3 sheets. The first is our current year budget. The next 2 are the following 2 years. What I'm looking to do for the next 2 years is a 3% increase to the budget across the board. But I'm gonna keep our operating budget the same and dump that entire 3% into the equipment replacement fund to help with financing the equipment we need. If you notice, I'll say, a couple months ago, I wrote you a letter saying how we need to increase our contributions to the equipment replacement fund in order to afford the equipment we have. You'll notice for the next 2 years that the Memphis contribution to the equipment replacement fund goes up pretty dramatically. That's to get us to that amount we need to be at. I'll let someone from the fire committee speak, or Larry if they want, but they seem to be in agreement with what we have proposed here.
Yeah, I think it's acceptable to me, and particularly if you're involved with these negotiations for the other 3 townships that we're involved in. So those are goodwill gestures on our point, and we need to update our equipment. And we're, Larry, you probably have a little bit more expertise speaking about, the financing of the fire engine, and we're bumping up that replacement equipment number of 400 and something right now, and so I think it's really something we absolutely have to do, and with along with the other issues that you're probably talking about.
When analyzing the runs, which they were stable back years ago, and the fire chief at that time, I think I may have mentioned this before, but the fire chief just used a 1%, or the same percentage for all of how we allocated the expense to run the fire department. And then we did, a couple of years ago, I think I had Doug come do an analysis of the runs, and I evaluated it. And because of how the runs changed, we were actually paying under what our costs should be. Most of that was additional runs was as a result of the apartments on Henderson Street. And I think the police department's running into the same problem over there. But the last year, I think then the fire department cut down the runs that they were making over there. That's correct, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
But when you looked at, I analyzed the runs again before we got into the budget year this time, and our percentages are going down. However, when you use a 5-year average, in order to get the benefit of that takes a few years to get the benefit. Personally, I would like to see us go back to that 5-year average, but we won't do it. We didn't do it this year, of course, and we won't do it the next 2 years, but I think when we get in it 2 years down the road, when we do the fire department, we'll have then at least 3 years that are relative to what we're actually doing. And then you average those out, you can kind of project what the next 2 years would be anyway. So I think we should get back to that, but we're not there yet. And so I know the expense to the city is higher than it normally is, but under the circumstances, I think we should okay both of the budgets. By the way, I've got a lot of sheets here. I can leave them if any of the other people want to look at that. The committee's got those sheets, but somebody wants to look at them, we can leave them up here. And if anyone else that wants to look at them and analyze them, I have no objection to doing that. But anyway, my opinion, we should go ahead with it.
No, we're gonna have to bite the bullet to get the new equipment
Yeah.
anyway.
Are we talking, so the townships haven't seen this yet, right?
Townships haven't seen it yet.
It looks great to me, I mean, if we can do it for that, I think it's stunning.
And I think the townships seeing that we're having the added cost based, mostly in Memphis.
Richmond Township called me up and asked if I had any idea what our increase was gonna be. I told him 3, he had no trouble with that. I think Riley Township should be fine with it. Our question mark is Wales.
Always is.
Just tell them not to call me anymore. I've got enough calls from them.
Chief, you wanna
one
point out what you were discussing there with Wales?
Yeah, one proposal I'm gonna have with Wales is we didn't lower, we lost some area last year in Wales to Kimball Fire Department. So therefore, our run numbers should be lower, but I'm gonna offer to them, with the price I have here for Wales Township, that we will cover that area that we used to again, for the same price.
I also like to point out too, and that what is we're kind of leaving the budget as staple at that same price, is that the last couple of years we have actually, from the budget, we've actually put money back into the equipment replacement fund. And this year, I think I have figures here someplace, but going from memory, I think it was around $38,000 we put back in there. Well, using the budget, not increasing the budget and not decreasing the budget for the next couple of years, also based on the current runs, if they remain in that way, it should have excess that will also go back into the equipment replacement.
And I think for the first 6 months of this budget year, fire department has spent about 37% of
That's
their budget, so
That's correct, that's what.
we're well under, and a lot of that 37% is one-time costs, like insurance, that you don't end up paying again in the second half of the
Yeah,
year,
right.
so we should be doing good for this year.
Yeah, if you spread that cost over the whole budget of 12 months, that means that you'll be below your 30 cents. It will be below
Right.
37%.
And I would say that, reaching out to Wales Township to, extend our coverage for the township, it's definitely beneficial to them as far as call time, and if there's no increased cost, I don't know why they wouldn't buy it.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion then to approve the budgets for fiscal year 2024 and 25, and 2025 and 26.
Support?
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa absent, Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5, added on, election workers' pay. Donna?
All right, the state is paying the early voting for us, and they pay everybody $15 an hour. We pay our chairpersons like 10.06, and our inspectors like 9-something. And it comes out to like $135 and $150 for the chairperson. Well, we're short people this year, and I can't get nobody, and I've called around, and they've got people, but they don't wanna come here because we don't pay as much. And I called the county, and if the county finds us people, I got paid 15, and I don't think it's fair to pay them 15, and the rest of our people, the 10. So I just wanna make it across the board that the chairperson gets $225, and the inspectors get $210. That's like, I figure out $15, and the chairperson 16.
Okay, chairperson 16 and the others.
The chairperson does more, is responsible for more.
So do you want us to approved the 16 and $15 an hour, you want us to give the other figure.
I want the other figure, that way I can budget every year, because sometimes they might stay an hour later.
Okay,
There's a
so-
lot going on, but so I'd rather have just one.
Yeah,
210 for inspectors
210 for inspector,
and 225 for chairperson.
for the chairperson. I'll make a motion to approve the election inspectors pay, 210 for inspectors and 225 for the chairperson.
Support.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa, absent. Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah, that takes care of that. Next up, from the mayor. Myself, I really don't have anything.
I have two things that, in part, I talked to you today, and you wanted me just to bring it up. It isn't something we have to act on, today, but, the one is the library furnace. The ductwork, was underwater, this last rainstorm. And so I think eventually something's gonna have to be done over there. The furnace is also getting old, and the ductwork's gonna have to be cut over instead of in the floor. Mark told me that's always been a problem, even when we bought that building back in the 90s, I think it was. And it should have been done actually then, but it wasn't, at least the ductwork. A new furnace, I believe, was put in, but the ductwork should have been done. So this is something we're gonna have to address sooner or later, but he just wanted to bring it up so that it's something that we're gonna have to do sometime. The second thing is Union Street out here, that really got beat up when we did.
The gravel road?
Yeah, Boardman Road. And of course, I told Bart to bring equipment and everything in just to do a short portion. It would be very, very, very expensive. I said if we get tied in with another project, we do it at that time. Now, what we need to do, and that's not this year, but next year, we will have to do Lois and Robert Streets, because that's going to get tore up. Now, in the grant that we had, that project that was $1,420,000, of course, as you know, it went up to $1,006,000, which we have to pick up almost an additional $200,000 in that. But we had to drop that out of doing the roads, because we were going to do the roads at the same time. So, if we can't do it soon, which we probably can, I think we should, when we do Lois and Roberts, do that out there. I don't know, unless something comes in, we can do it sooner, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's almost to the point if we have to borrow money to do this something, find, something somewhere, because,
Yeah.
It's one of those where I hear the complaints about this road, that road, the other. I never hear anything about Union, and it is probably the worst road that we have in town.
well,
It's a lot of traffic.
I would say in front of my house is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway.
Larry, how much money is in the local street fund?
I think I have it.
When we do Union Street, could we consider doing the back driveway of the fire department?
Well,
at the
there's
same
another,
time?
I want to mention something else just in a minute, but I'll address that issue.
I agree.
And the strip of dirt
Yeah.
out here?
Okay, Major Street says, that's major, local street says 210,000 in it, and the millage is 196, so that's about about 400,000. But then we're putting it probably another 55,000 this year too on that, so,
Right.
so we have money in there.
Yeah, right here, I mean, it's gone
Yeah.
downhill since we had the water main break, interrupted everything there,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so, and the other thing
And I would say to include the park, I'm sorry, I mean,
Okay,
I would
go
say
ahead.
to include this back section
Yeah.
of the parking lot over here.
Yeah, the other thing I'd like to mention too, we've got in our so-called rainy day fund, we have, get the right spreadsheet here. Okay, we have right now 909, about 910,000. And CDs are about 540, the available cash is about 370. However, I think we should, I'm not sure what it would cost, I think Eric maybe looked at that, but we should really look at paving the whole thing under the tower, everything, but you gotta do a survey of the elevations, everything, because you gotta put the infrastructure in first.
Right.
I think we probably should look at getting the engineering done maybe, and see what it would cost. If we have to use a little bit of that rainy day fund, I don't, because it's climbing every year. When I started here, it was down here up to there.
Right.
And,
If we've got that much money there, it's,
yeah, I think.
as opposed to borrowing it.
Yeah, I read some statistics, and normally bigger cities and so on, they like a rainy day fund. Most of them are in the, say, the 45% range. Ours is getting close to 100% range.
Right.
So even though I don't like to spend money, you know, but I think something like this should be looked at.
Yeah.
I'm sure our businesses would definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, so I think if you don't mind, maybe I'll say, see what it costs to do the engineering first and see what we're talking about. I get an estimate.
I think we also need to do something with the wire mess that's back there too.
Pardon?
All the wires that are behind the businesses.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Little India?
You know? Old Delhi, I call it.
Yeah. Anyway, this is just about 2 or 3 things I want to bring up, so that's all I have. But-
There's a lot of underground work.
Yeah, there is.
We know that, and it needs to be upgraded, the storm drains need to be upgraded. It all needs to be graded to go out to the road and down that way, I would think, as opposed to
Well,
going
that's
across
what-
the road.
No, it doesn't go that way.
Right, yeah.
But if you don't do you gotta do the infrastructure or it'll all get destroyed. with
Do you think we should have a DPW that kind of like,
Yeah,
I mean, we've discussed a whole lot here.
yeah,
Have a DPW meeting, and let's pick out what we need to look at
Yeah.
that's most
Yeah,
critical and.
yeah, I think we could do that. I think we probably should have meetings pretty soon. Bart's gonna be awful busy this summer with everything that's going on. It's gonna be a nightmare, you know, the things that's going on,
Yeah.
so.
Now, can you get a hold of, or find the number from the person who I worked with for the LED lights, maybe at DTE?
Ooh, I can look
And,
at
and we can start, I know I'm pretty sure he's out of Mount Clemens.
Okay.
And,
For DT to look at this,
to have him look at the wires.
I mean, that's just, to me, that's.
I mean, what they did for us with the LEDs was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
we got them for almost nothing.
Well,
Saved us a
again,
ton of
we paid
money.
for them in about, what, less than 4 years, I
Right,
think.
paid for itself,
Otherwise,
right?
it'll pay off, isn't it?
There's a lot more than just DTE wires back there too,
Yeah.
based on what's coming into the fire hall.
But there's a lot of wires up there that aren't doing anything.
That's what I
A
guess.
bunch of them fell and they never put them back up.
Yeah, and communication wires normally aren't
Yeah.
fixed or replaced or whatever.
Anyway, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Weaver?
Oh, kind of going off of that subject a little bit, just throwing it out there for people to think about, if we do have a little money in our rainy day fund. At the point in time, they put the sidewalks in over on Pratt. Any chance we could get those 3 houses on board and maybe talk to the contractor to build that sidewalk? Then we have a sidewalk all the way to the bell.
He's going to build, those 3 houses will be built this year.
No, I'm talking about the existing houses that don't have a sidewalk right on the
Oh,
corner.
him putting there.
We're gonna cross over and go past your place.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
We're gonna cross over and go past your place.
Well, I'm on the other side of the road, it has no bearing, but I'm just thinking it would, with all the traffic there, you know, you see the ballpark, they're playing down there. I mean, it would funnel, all that, you would have a way to get from Bell River all the way to the school and then the blacktop, and we'll talk about making it a more walkable town. You know, I don't know what the cost would be involved, or even mention it to the developers of Memphis Meadow, if they could give us a price, or just throwing it out there for food for thought. And then, of course, the 3 owners of the houses, but when I looked
Well,
at it,
and that's one of the other things too that we had been looking into, and we were looking to get a contractor on board to look at all the
Right.
sidewalks in the city, and maybe we take and throw it in. I mean, you know, hey, mine's in disrepair.
Yeah, I want to mention that again, 'cause we started talking about that, and if we could start that discussion
Right,
again,
and
get
it's-
some
it's-
prices,
and
get
it-
it out to the people, and
That kind of went to the wayside because you're getting Boardman
Oh, yeah.
Road done, and, you know, it's one of those, our DPW.
but it seemed like a timely topic if we are talking about, and I don't know what the cost would be, they got a per foot cost, I know. and-
Right, it's one of those, once you start pouring concrete, you know, it's like if you, as long as you're bringing full loads, and that's what stopped me is,
I
you know,
think,
paying for short loads.
I think when we were talking about that, the way, you know, in the planning commission when I was on there, well, you were there. And I think they had talked about $2,000 a house, would increase.
Is that about it?
Yeah, I think that was a figure.
It's not a huge investment to tie that much of the sidewalk in.
I'm not 100% sure, but
Just my opinion.
that sticks in my
my
mind
opinion.
around 200,000.
I
Or
agree.
2,000. Okay.
And, yeah, so, yeah, we could, maybe, I don't know, we need a DPW meeting to talk about the structuring, get a package together for the
Yeah,
whole
we-
city, you know, that we can start working on
Yeah,
next time.
we'll
Put
address
it on
all
the agenda.
we'll address all those issues, yeah.
Okay, great, and you have the, that edit that we did for the rental agreement, if anybody wants to make any changes in it before next meeting, I think we're.
I've got, sorry, I got,
Larry, I got like a whole page for you, that's all right, I don't mind.
So,
I'm just putting it out there anyway,
Okay.
so that maybe we
I
can
mean,
adopt.
rather than cover this now.
No, I don't wanna cover it now, it's for information only, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to remind everybody, if we could, so, you know, we got it pretty much ready to go, so we could adopt it and get that out of the way anyway.
I'll work with you on, there's just a couple things that,
But anyway,
and
you know.
it's mostly just changing some, like you've got village in there, once that should be taken out, just a couple things, I'll get with you, okay?
Yeah, I'm not the greatest typist in the world.
Well, I'm not a typist at all, so.
Well, that, and then the last thing, we talked a little bit about it at the planning commission meeting last time. People are just curious if it is legal to have those flag signs on M19. I don't really know, you know, I looked on the ordinance and, you know, I'm not really sure, but could we have one of the committees just look at that? You know, some folks says,
What signs are there, not
the
sure?
big green ones that say
Well,
dispensary.
so now the thing is you can't just look at the big green ones, you have to look at
Well, no,
what
that's
the
all I wanna
doghouse
look at.
has in front of theirs, when the ice cream shop opens and they
Wait a
put
minute,
theirs
hold
out.
on, Kurt, I know your objection,
So-
you voiced them last time, I'm just asking a question. But it is on the M19 right away, I just wanna get an answer to somebody, because I have to talk about it all the time.
Right.
All right, the rest of the signs, yes, I know they're on the building, got no problem with the signs on there, and it's not any hostility aimed at the dispensaries, that's a done deal. Their signs are tasteful, I like Proper Leaf, Joyology, I'm not crazy about the name, but it is what it is. However, you know, people have legitimate reason to say they're kind of unsightly, and it's the enter Memphis dispensary. I just would like to know, and someone who, I don't know, I looked at it.
It's not the legality of what it says, it's just the legality of the sign placement and the flag placement. Okay?
Right, and it's.
So that's what I'm saying,
thinking.
is that would affect anybody and everybody that is on M19 that puts a flag out, whether it says
Can we get a
open,
definitive answer on
sale.
that? I agree,
Exactly.
But they
so-
take it in every day.
Eric?
The dispensary doesn't.
No, but I mean like the Art of Queen, the bars, the air conditioners, they all take them in.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I asked.
This was actually brought up today at the CRA meeting.
What is that there?
It's a little bit off topic of what you're talking about, but what they had suggested was that the planning commission actually invite the business owners or the managers or whoever you want to bring in and bring them in and talk to them.
Oh, absolutely.
About the issue.
Yeah.
And let them know that, hey, there's people that are complaining about it. They may just say, you know what, that's good enough, and then we'll take them down. Or we'll take them down at night or whatever. But it was just, when I heard him talking about it today, I was like, you know, that's a pretty good idea, because I was actually at the planning commission meeting when it was brought up, and we talked about it, so.
So, and by the way, CRA is the Cannabis Regulatory Agency, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'd like to stay ahead of it. You know, I don't want people filing written complaints, because then we are going to be tasked with finding out and giving an answer. We should anyway.
Right, and I'm sure that
If a
that type
constituent
of
asks, we
flag,
need to respond, and that's all I'm trying to do
I
here.
personally, I think there's actually a state law that somebody sent us an email about years ago saying that you could not have a sign in the right of way. But that means you cannot have a garage sale sign on the telephone pole. So if you wanna start getting into that, that's a big can of
Right,
worms.
putting a real estate sign on
Those are
the
legal.
boulevard is
As long
illegal.
as they're between the house and the sidewalk, they're fine. But when you start going between the sidewalk and the road, that's where the state has a problem.
Yeah, they don't really have a front yard, which that gives you some wiggle room too. But I just wanted a definitive answer so I can tell
Right.
people this is the way it is. And if people want to respond to it and start picking on the article, I doubt they will. But at least an answer. I don't want this thing to go on and on and on.
Right, and
That's all I'm asking.
define the right of way, because it's one of those where you get, you know, well, I guess you do have a right, you know, a boulevard per se, a sidewalk, although we're paved here in
Pretty
the
narrow.
central business district.
Well, so who would be best equipped to look into it, you think? Because looking at the ordinance, there's only a couple pages on signs.
And I'm sure our ordinance doesn't cover it. I'm gonna guess that it falls under the state or the county and with the highway.
Could we ask the code enforcement officer maybe to give us an opinion on it? I mean, that's what he deals with too, or whatever, to some committee, invite him in, get an opinion?
Wouldn't he deal with our codes, and if our codes aren't specific enough, where would he go from
I don't
there?
know.
Well, that's where he's gonna be
He's
looking
gonna-
at our ordinances, and I'm gonna guess that our ordinance is probably not gonna be addressed. So then it's gonna fall down to
It isn't specifically, but
Macomb County Road Commission or the
you
State
could look at it and
Highway
maybe
Commission.
think, it shouldn't be there.
What's to stop him from just moving it to inside of his fenced area then?
Okay, well then, so.
Right, like,
So the thing is, and again, we're addressing the flags that are per
And yeah,
se
that's
Right.
just the flag.
next to the highway.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and again, you know, Tammy has hers there
Yeah.
next to the sidewalk. Where does she move it to?
Right,
Okay, you know, the Arctic Queen puts them up for when they're open.
yep.
It seems to me that somebody had one on the other side of the road too, was it maybe the
Movable fees.
hairdresser? What's that?
Movable fees.
fees?
Yep.
You know, so at one point in time, where do you move them to, you know, following, and I'm gonna guess, like I say, it's gonna be under the DOT somewhere.
I would like to see the business owners or the managers or whatever be invited to come to a planning commission meeting and discuss it. I don't think it's that big of a deal myself. I don't think they feel.
I don't see that the state's gonna turn around and hunker down on anybody, because you see it all over the place.
Well, every year they come through here and they make signs disappear. We've learned that lesson in the past,
Yeah.
as far as, you know. if
Yeah,
it's
no
not
jake
on-
breaks.
If it's not on their map that says this sign goes here and this sign goes there, they just disappear. But I think if you brought in the managers and invited them to a meeting, that it could be handled pretty easily. I think, I don't know.
I mean, it's a good start, and whatever committee be there too. I mean, who would look at that, you think?
Planning commission,
Pardon me?
planning
The
commission.
entire planning commission?
I would start with that. It's a, you know, it's an informal, sit-down discussion. We'll see where it goes.
Okay. Good enough, I think.
That's just my suggestion.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all I got.
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Zimmer?
So the only thing I have is, you know, the advisory committee met about the rental agreement situation. You guys all have copies. We're hoping to move that along without delays. So whatever that process looks like, probably rely on some of our more senior members to make sure that we continue that process going, because I haven't done that. Donna had said, we talked about two other things. Donna had sent me an email about the code enforcer, having some questions about parking on grass and then being able to issue citations. We didn't discuss it too heavily in advisory. We felt like maybe that was a larger council situation that we would probably want to talk about in the March meeting. Other than that, I got nothing.
Mr. Schneider?
Okay, so currently coming down the road, we have a smart issue with Richmond Lennox EMS. So Rick, currently, in case some of you don't know, we actually give Richmond Lennox EMS our smart credits. And Donna, correct me if I make a mistake here. We give Richmond Lennox our smart credits, and they use that money to fund the smart bus, which I believe picks people up right here in this parking lot in the mornings. And if you call, you can get actually taken to like a doctor's appointment or whatever you want.
You can call and have them take you to the airport.
Yeah, the airport too. So what SMART, which is the regional transportation, wants to do is they want to not allow communities to opt out of the millage that they currently collect in Macomb County and use that money to expand their operation to include service out, all the way out to here. This is, when they were questioned about things, there was a lot of answers like, send me an email and, we'll look into it sort of a thing. So they were really sort of hedging their bets on what they weren't committing to anything. But one thing, what I thought was interesting that they are doing is they're apparently planning to compete with rideshare programs like Uber. So it's going to be called Flex. You'll get an app on your phone, and you can request a Flex vehicle. It'll be wrapped in a wrap that says Flex with Smart's logoing and stuff like that on there. And they'll come right to your house and take you to wherever you want to go for a cost. They didn't talk about what the cost was. They didn't talk about what the impact would be. They didn't talk about how they were going to vet their riders or anything like that. It's very vague. So I'm just kind of sort of letting people know that I didn't actually know what the meeting was when I went to it. I thought I was going there to hear Jeff White talk about his part of SMART and the SMART buses, and then when I got there I realized it was something totally different. And apparently they're doing this in, I think he said 15 communities they've done so far. So it's going to be out here. So I'm just letting everybody in the community also know that this is happening, that they're going to try to come to get in our pockets a little bit more and to support this new program that's going on.
So that's just morphing into, like, from SMART to this Flex thing? Or are they two
Well,
separate
Flex
things?
is a part of it. So Flex is the way I took it is the fact that obviously they can't do what Jeff does, so they're trying to supplement it with this Flex program to where they're going to compete with Uber, because the guy said, well, Uber's really expensive for people who live way out here in the country, which I'm sure it is. I'm not 100% positive as to how much it costs. I mean, I don't think you can call a taxi cab company out here. I mean, you can probably get a shuttle bus ride, other than SMART, like a limousine to go to the airport or something like that. I'm just not sure. I know I did it years ago, but I don't remember how much it was. Or it was probably a good deal at the time, I would imagine. But now, actually, SMART does that, and it doesn't. I don't think it costs you anything. Maybe it costs you $1 or whatever you want to tip the driver. I don't remember. So the idea is that this Flex program is it's an app and it's a ride share. So it's, I mean, to me it sounds like it's basically competing with Lyft or Uber or whatever you want to think of. But there's no cost. There's no talk about how much it's going to cost for this program as far as like using it, and there's no cost as far as how much it'll end up costing for the millage and whatever. So I know they did say that it was 11% of all the money that they collect is currently for administration. I have no idea how much money that is. It just went this afternoon at 4 o'clock, so I wasn't able to look into it at all. But this is just a heads up.
Wonder if it's more of just trying to add to their fleet, where they can send a car instead of, if you take
Well,
one
or
person.
instead of send a
send the
smart
whole
bus
bus to
out,
the
send an
airport,
individual
Send it
driver.
in a Volvo or something.
Their smart bus services aren't changing though.
No.
Okay.
This is in addition to.
Yeah.
The meeting with
For profit then? Are these Flex, would they be?
well, this is when you pay for a bus ride.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a different revenue
It's part of
stream?
SMART.
It
It's
would
all
be
part of
funded out
Southern
of the millage?
Michigan Rapid Transit.
Okay.
They didn't really give any details. I think it was more like a round table or
Let's
trying
throw
to
it
get,
at the wall and
trying
see
to
what
get
sticks.
trying to get what I think they're trying to sell it to enough people that will vote for it the next time it comes up, because I don't think it passed enough in Macomb County, so now the people who are actually paying it, they are paying it on their own. They're not being forced. So now they want to get rid of the whole opt-out idea, so that everybody will be paying it.
Did they say what communities have adopted it already?
The big ones, Grand Rapids, Detroit, Flint,
Where Uber and Lyft
Warren.
are prevalent already?
yeah,
Probably.
yeah, exactly.
Would make sense.
But I think that the reason why people are voting for it is because they think it's a free ride.
Yeah.
So it's
Or cheaper.
it'll save them money.
Yeah.
But I don't know what. Well, I don't know. They didn't really give any details. I think it was more of a fact finding or a roundtable type of a discussion to see how people felt about it before they drop it on
To
you.
the hard press.
That's all I have. Motion to adjourn.
Thanks for the information, Aaron.
You're welcome.
We'll set up a DPW meeting.